Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss some basics about supply chain management. So, especially we'll discuss the concept of logistics with a brief review of its origins in military strategy and its subsequent adoption within industry. So, let's go inside this. Before going further, logistics and supply chain management, these are all not new ideas. Okay. So, from the building of the pyramids to the relief of hungers in Africa, the principles, understandings, uh, the effective flow of material and information flow, everything happened with the help of this logistic and supply chain management only. So throughout the history of mankind, wars have been won and lost through logistic strengths and capabilities or lack of them. It has been argued that the defeat of the British in the American War of Independence can largely be attributed to logistics failure because soldiers will be there in particular areas. So definitely the goods and the equipment, material, all kind of stuff should be transported and hand over to the soldier on time. Then only they can able to sustain the war, right? So because of that failure, automatically several countries lost in war. So, an organization capable of supplying the army was not developed until 1781, and by then it was too late. So, automatically they lost the war. So, this is one little example. Similarly, from the past history, we can easily understand how exactly this logistics and supply chain management works. So in early days, when we talk about the supply chain management and logistics, they are very narrow thing. That is, they mainly concentrate on how exactly the inventory happened, inventory cost as well as transportation cost. That alone they are considering. So let's see the slide so that you can understand. Freight transportation, they are spending this much million. Inventory expense, some billions, and administrative expense, very low expense only. That is, when compared with others, only $31 billion. So this is actually achieved from Case Logistics during the year 1996. This is the viewpoint when talking about the logistics and supply chain management. Then, so the share is happen based on profit, logistic cost, marketing cost, and manufacturing cost. So usually, always as usual, manufacturing cost is higher. Around 48 percentage total cost will come from manufacturing cost, and for marketing cost it is 27 percentage, whereas this logistics cost 21 percentage, and net profit rally for 4 percentage only. So now, the magnitude in the traditional view, when we talk about this, let's see some typical example. Estimate that the grocery industry could save $30 billion, that is 10% of the operating cost, by using effective logistics and supply chain strategies. Because when we a typical box of cereal spent 104 days from factory to sale. So this is the older early days. Okay, because manufacturing happened in one particular location, maybe it is in an isolated place, and there is no proper coordination or communication. Automatically, we need to take effective transportation mechanism so that it will the product may reach to nook and corner of the location where the retailer or the customers are residing. So this is in early days, it may even 104 days it may take for a cereal to reach a particular stakeholder. But the problem is that time its value may gone during the transportation. It may some other obstacles may happen. So many things are there. Similarly, a typical car spend 15 days from factory to dealership. But nowadays everything is globalized, and we even have various branches, even different locations they have factories. So everything is very easily accessible, so that we can easily get the product very early. So Laura Ashley, one of the famous scientists, he said that inventory 10 times a year it is the faster the transportation cost reduction is happen 10 times per year. That is the conclusion he made. Now we'll see how exactly one more better example we can see, that is compare estimate it lost $5 billion to $1 billion in sale in the year 1995 because laptops were not available when and where needed. So when the software industry boomed, automatically they are not able to get the equipment. But nowadays everywhere we can able to purchase any electronic items, right? Similarly, when the 1 gigabit processor was introduced by AMD, the price of the 800 MB processor dropped by 30% suddenly. So it will definitely create a huge loss in the manufacturing field of that 800 MB processor, right? So these are all some little examples so that we can understand the strategy behind the market. Okay, so next, we'll see the basic outline what we are going to discuss here. What is supply chain, decision phases in a supply chain, process view of a supply chain, the importance of supply chain flows, and we'll see some examples of supply chains. What is a supply chain? So definitely in a supply chain, when we develop a product or when we invent or manufacture a product, we need to consider starting from the scratch. In the sense, collecting a good raw material and using that raw material with the inside the factory with the proper people and proper other facilities, and we are developing a product. Once the product is developed, we need to properly warehouse it, and from the warehouse it should be handed over to the distributor through, and from distributor to retailer, and from retailer to the actual customer. And now the customer, after using this, he will give the satisfactory feedback. So all things involved in this supply chain. So whatever direct or indirect involvement of these various stages of this entire production or the entire fulfilling of the customer request is stated as supply chain. Okay, so it includes manufacturers, suppliers, transporters, warehouses, retailers, and customers. Within each company, the supply chain includes all functions involved in fulfilling a customer request, that is starting from product development, marketing, operations, distribution, finance, and customer service. So we will take any example like determined supply chain or laptop manufacturing, anything we can take and we can explain it. Okay. Now, definitely, customer is an integral part of the supply chain because there is no market. We are developing a product, and it's waste of time and money. So it includes movement of product from suppliers to manufacturers to distributors, but also include movement of information, funds, and products in both directions. Probably more accurate to use the term supply network or supply web. So we can call this supply chain as supply network or supply web. Typical supply chain stages: customers, retailers, distributors, manufacturers, and suppliers. So all stages we can represent explicitly in the diagram, or we can just focus on the people, the main component like customers, retailers, distributors, manufacturers, and suppliers. So let us take one detergent manufacturing. So definitely we will take the famous company that is P&G or other any manufacturer, and so we need to need the proper ingredient like oil, chemicals. Then once the product is developed, whether it is a soap, means after the soap is developed, we need to pack it up, right? So for packing, definitely we need paper. So paper is manufactured with the help of timber. So we need to associate with the timber industry. So timber industry, it is giving an input or raw ingredients to paper manufacturer. Now this paper manufacturer, they are manufacturing the paper. It is given to the packaging. Usually the packaging may happen within a factory, so automatically they have this component in that. Then parallelly, with the help of some oils and chemicals, they are developing the plastic wrap that may be also required for soap manufacturing. Again, actual soap is developed, detergent is we are developing with its ingredient, and everything integrated, and it is come together in the supply chain concept. Then, when we talk about the flows in a supply chain, definitely the customer is the main prime source. He is passing the information, he is getting the product. For getting the product, he is paying the money, right? So, information flow, product flow, and fund flow is there. Sometimes the customer return the product, right? So, you don't think that the product is always one way direction. That is, sometimes if there is any defect, any valid reason, customer can return it, because most of the companies, they are having the return policy, right? Within 30 days of return with valid reason is nowadays available. You can check it out in Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, whatever online purchase platform. There everywhere we are having this written policies. Then fund flow. Definitely we can have cash on delivery, or we can pay in advance, or we can use a credit card, or we can use any coupons, etc., etc. So these are the flows in supply chain. Then the main objective of a supply chain is actually maximizing overall value created. Supply chain value, that is very, very important. That is the difference between what the final product is worth to the customer and the effort the supply chain expend in filling the customer's requirement. So that is the supply chain value. Value is correlated to supply chain profitability. Profitability in the sense we can say it's the difference between revenue generated from the customer and the overall cost across the supply chain. Okay, so these are the main objectives. And further, when we have a proper planning strategy and proper usage, optimistic usage of the supply chain strategies and everything, definitely we can get higher revenue. So that is the outcome of studying this supply chain management. So the supply chain success should be measured by total supply chain profitability, not by profit at an individual stage. That is a very important thing, because sometimes in the transportation stage we may get some loss. Maybe in the manufacturing sector we may get some gain. So, but we should not rely on individual components. Always we should measure as a total component, or the total value of individual components profit. Okay. So mainly the source of supply chain revenue is the customer, and flow of information, products are found between stages of the supply chain. So thus we will conclude that supply chain management is the management of flows between and among supply chain stages to maximize total supply chain profitability. That's all today. Thank you.